Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's time for us to look at the newspaper front pages and the headlines. And join us for this analysis is Chartered Accountant and Public Affairs Analyst, Mr. Sesan Okunade.
Why did you remove the
Why did you
Olusesan?
Okay, Olusesan.
So do that intro again, please.
We have Chartered Accountant, avid golfer.
No, the way you said the chartered accountant, now it's not like the way you said it the first time. It was so punchy. So
guys, we don't have time.
Find out.
You're welcome. You can ignore the studio.
thank you very much.
You like
You see, part of the things I enjoyed with this crew, you bring that relief side of this. So when you wake up with every activities that we face in this, the BP level, we just you create activities that will make people dance. It's always a great time.
Thank you so much for the compliment. Just like MI said, we self will be human beings.
Yes.
If the three of us were in Abuja, I don't think that things will have flared up because we will have made the FCT minister calm down.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of how we always ban.
And I was even afraid when Gbenga was shouting chartered accountant and missed to add the Olu. I was thinking he was going to tell him that you were a small boy. You are a small boy when I was in
We're not
for not putting the Olu. Yes, I was in primary school when he was chartered.
When you were exactly.
Thankfully, our guest Olusesan Okunade is not like that.
Yeah.
But let's go to the leadership newspapers. I know he will react to that story because he must make it to the papers. On the leadership, we can see 2025 oil licensing rounds open December 1st. Upstream regulator says Sanwo-Olu approves free health insurance for 5,000 vulnerable Lagosians. Wike naval officers in face-off over Abuja land. They've turned into memes on social media. Political rivals Governor Yusuf Ganduje exchange pleasantries. Look at, I like the way they put these stories one
back to back.
Exactly. On top, you see Wike and the naval officer face off, and right below, political rivals exchange pleasantries. Why two they fight, two they settle?
Happy.
Only 40% of
No, they just exchange pleasantries. It doesn't mean they are still not fighting.
Yeah, but
the governor and the former governor.
But they're exchanging
no
pleasantries. First step in the right direction. Only 40% of Batch C prospective core members will attend orientation. Why?
There was a glitch with the website at some point, so maybe it could only register the remaining 60%.
Then what will happen to the remaining 60%?
They'll wait till next time.
For what? EU, Germany commit 18.3 million euros to boost climate-smart agriculture in Nigeria. Interesting. People's Democratic Party's November 15 convention faces growing uncertainty. Today's date is what? November 12th. In 3 days, we will see if that convention will hold. I think it should hold. We'll see what the outcome will be. Kaduna governor advocates state-led strategy to combat insecurity. Of all these interesting stories. Capital gains tax.
Stock market loses
4.64 trillion in 1 day. Makawai, kilo day. Nigeria, US, UK launch joint probe into 338 billion naira cocaine seized at Lagos port. How many of you are bringing cocaine into this country? They have seized your goods and it's good for you. Let's start with Mr. Okunade. Let's start with that face-off. We think we should play the video. Let's actually play the video.
So that rejig your memory.
So I don't forget
to remind you of some things.
So if our producers can please help us play the video, and then we can have Mr. Olusesan Okunade react to it.
Nobody does that. We did not carry anybody. The man took the land. We will not allow going to take on over and then you to carry land.
Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop that?
Will
you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, your mouth, good officer.
I will not shut up.
Will you get up?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir,
I was in school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
me up. Will you
up.
keep quiet?
You can't shut me up, sir.
Food.
I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool,
You can shoot anybody like that.
Sir, I'm not a fool. I am not a fool, sir.
As at the time I graduated, you were primary school.
I'm acting on orders.
Take which order? You will see whether you love me.
Sir, you can't call me a fool.
I'm an
officer. I'm not a fool, sir. I'm an officer.
You will have killed everybody here.
No, we won't kill anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders.
Go and develop your let me see you.
Regular officer, you want to come and
we are going to get out.
Hello, sir. Morning, sir. I'm fine, thank you, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Afternoon, sir. I'm Navy Lieutenant Nyesom, sir. Security officer to Vice Admiral from good time. Yes, sir. So I'm here on the orders. Yes, I'm here on the orders. Sir, we mobilized to site a couple of days ago, and then the engineer kept telling us that policemen are coming to embarrass them and harass them, and they've been coming to threaten them that if they don't leave, to strike them, to arrest them and all. And then he brought it to our attention. So as the security officer to the Vice Admiral, I was bored, and then we acted. Sir, we are not doing anything illegal. We are here on the orders of the Vice Admiral. That's it. Ours is just to come and prevent.
Stop this.
What even paid me in all of this thing? After everything, they still left that place. Because you cannot be boiling like that and then still leave that land without access to it. No?
But he gave his reason. He said if it was not because
Of the CDS.
Could have killed a lot.
Kill a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
You
get a
see,
reaction.
first and foremost, it depicts the kind of leaders we have. I see 100% here lack of emotional intelligence to actually have understanding of the situation of things. To the officers, I followed on social media, a lot of people were actually criticizing that the military seems to be above the law. It's not an instance of standing above the law. It's a matter of relationship. The approach of minister to me is 100%, and it speaks volume. The way and manner he manages people underneath him. For you, the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, calling a military man a fool depicts that there should be, as we speak, a training on anger management. Because if you can do this to a military man, how much more a civilian like you? I saw him pushing some of the directors. In fact, the interesting one was the man that called himself MNI, as if that is what they will use to collect money when they get to heaven. You are coming to, you see, immediately somebody comes out to depict that. Do you think that officer do not know Wike? Or do not know the director? He was pointing to the man that you have all the documents with you, everything intact, and you cannot come here. Number one, I don't know what brought that area where the minister himself has to go to that place. Because for me, did you see the Vice Admiral there? No. The guy said, I'm acting on order, even when the CDS has spoken. And because the military understand themselves and they respect hierarchy, even though the other man has retired, they will always respect one another. And he told, I'm sure, the minister said, if not for the instruction of CDS, which has to say, we will settle this, can you leave that area? And I expect that he should have handled the issue, in a more matured way. Areas where I don't like is the name calling on the military is derogatory.
Yes, it was in uniform.
Derogatory, and it's not something. So I imagine what happens to if he sees someone like you, who you are a
regular civilian.
Civilian. We've seen that happen when Fanika Ode was a minister that slapped a journalist. They throw words at people because they are in power. In the next 2 years, you will leave this particular office. And will you become a norm? How will you want to be treated?
Let me read this comment on YouTube by Annie Chinedu Brown. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube. You can go and drop your comments there as well. Annie Chinedu Brown says, the bully, comparable to a hammer that sees every adversary as a nail, views opponents as fubara, and unfortunately yesterday, the bully encountered Showore in military uniform.
What an analogy.
That guy is a great analyst, sincerely speaking. But sincerely speaking, our leaders should come to this fact that when you are there, you see, there was a portion of the video I was looking at, Joe, that made the minister now looked like one of the subjects to that military guy when the guy was speaking to CDS.
CDS.
You are now looking at what is the next instruction.
Because he handed him his phone.
Now, Because you have to give the military guy you are bullying that was still in school while you're already serving the people. It is not the same guy you have to give your phone to. Not that you give it to your SE or somebody
so that's
to say.
why anger management
is very,
important,
very
because
key.
all of this would have been unnecessary if he had his emotions in check.
Curtailed.
Yeah.
That's just what we actually
And
saw displayed here.
it wasn't just disparaging the officer, the young naval officer. It was disparaging the entire military institution. Because
that's why a lot of them have come. Yeah.
It's in uniform. Even the president, the commander-in-chief
I was about to mention that.
the Nigerian
because if he's saying he's working on the instructions of the president is the commander-in-chief.
Will never use such words.
Derogatory word on the military. You are the commander-in-chief of armed forces.
You
now using derogatory word on your people that you're serving, it will not happen. So that's why we feel continuously this set of people should understand the fact that power is transcendent. You have it today. Manage it effectively. Anywhere you go, either you are a man, and you have to say, do you know who I am? Even when people know your personality, you've already failed. Just immediately you say that statement, withdraw it and leave the face. Because if you have to be introducing yourself, it's just like my governor coming to say, are you aware you are talking to Governor Sanwo-Olu? If I hear that, do you know why?
I really don't blame them. It's Olamide that started this trend by saying, first of all, introduction.
Binga. But you know, there's also a video that circulated earlier on that showed the current FCT minister where he had called some landowners and he was telling them in public to shut up. He said, keep quiet. You shut up, keep quiet.
And you remember?
I remember that. I know where you're going to.
Traditional
chiefs. I said,
and he said, you are nodding. Fake. It's fake. You put on those mandatory, you that used to wear t-shirt and run around the neighborhood. Fake.
Even as you have been
traditional ruler. So it means
he has no
regardless
respect.
of
He
what
has
institution.
No respect for
even
imagine that guy going back to his subject as a king.
And then they say
that they had rubbish.
King will get crowned.
Even we journalists, we don't collect though. On YouTube, Lillian Oloha says, Wike has met his match. He thinks military is like those journalists from different media organizations who gather every month and being bullied by Wike because they always go to collect brown envelope. Hey!
But we would correct that. No. It's not. There's no brown envelope there. Let's make it clear.
Lillian, why now?
Let's clear it, Lillian. So Lillian, let's clear it. What happens is Wike apparently is the only minister in this country that has held more press pally than any other, even more than the president. Because I remember during the military regime, you would have the late President Abacha who would address the country and so on. But since then, we've not had any other president. I stand to be corrected, apart from President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Obasanjo was engaging.
Who was engaged? Where President Muhammadu Buhari, the late president,
you had to force him to engage.
There was no way. And the current president, we all know, it's just only on State of the Nation addresses on particular days. Yeah. So Lillian, Wike has decided, the FCT minister decided to say, let me change the narrative. Let me give you updates on what I'm doing. He's the only minister who has celebrated roads, always cutting ribbons. He's the only minister commissioning. He's the only minister who has... So when he calls the media, yes, let's call a spade in the sense that the media's presence would have to warrant some form of airtime. You cannot have it for free. No station would burn diesel. But in terms of envelope, no.
I think he just need to correct the narrative at which you talk to people.
Let me say it here. I'm sure he's going to call for another press.
Of course.
He will call for another one.
And I really hope he will apologize to that poor king that said he dressed like Usman Danfodio.
No.
No, that one don't pass.
That one was not happening today.
Just to mention that, like I said at the start of the show, every Nigerian has a right to dignity of human person.
Yeah.
And in the way that Nyesom Wike spoke to that officer, he stripped him of his right to dignity of human person. You can't be calling him a fool and for what did he insult you? Just because he said, I'm standing on orders, right? We must learn as well. Like I said again, this generation is not like the generation of our grandparents that you insult them and talk down at them and expect them to, they will talk.
Even this military issue, yesterday I was on the golf course and I had to play with two retired officers. Interestingly,
sir, don't be winning them too much.
Don't play small.
No, interestingly, this last one I had to be the champion. So that one, is given. when you play, you play. But one thing that I found interesting is there is this elderly man that has retired. He's a past captain. And this other one just retired. And I hear him saying, my Oga. I was thinking he was going to... So I now observe that there is this hierarchy. They respect themselves, even in retirement.
Okay.
They respect one another. So we must definitely... And they always listen to the last order from their boss.
Then they hear go, then they hear come.
They're not the hear come. So you must understand when you say, I am acting on... Whether the order is right, he has no order to say, okay, this thing you are sending me to, I don't think it's logical, except he wants to face the consequence. So he acts first. That's the way the...
Obey before
complain. That's the way they are trained. And we must learn. That's why a lot of people that relate to them now come with that emotional intelligence. Because you can imagine, if it is some other sister agency, then go tear fire that yesterday with the way that person was talking down on me.
And then when
somebody
was the
would tear
person
fire
that did the first push?
Yeah,
because I saw a video from someone on Wike's team pushing.
And the guy had to,
you know,
and the other guy say Azwaya for his team. Because when that guy was pushed, he pushed the other officer.
And that could have easily escalated. It could have easily escalated. The statement about killing everyone, I don't think that was necessary. It was very inappropriate.
That was not also a statement that should be made in a
Spain. What we can all agree on is that matter could have been handled better if emotional maturity was involved, if emotions were in check, and he had no right to insult him in the way that he did. He can take it up with his superior and deal with it in a professional manner, not come down to the level of exchanging words with someone who was not even exchanging words with him.
Made a statement on his Facebook criticizing the conduct of the honorable.
Let me also.
There are those who are calling for the young man to be fired.
Why?
They say that he was disrespectful to an honorable minister, that he was basically breaking the chain of command. I do not agree.
Let me also use this opportunity to plug this in very quickly. November is also the month for men, which
International Men's Month.
Yes, exactly.
November 19th in particular is International Men's Day.
And the whole month of November has been termed to be Movember. It's a movement. And one highlight is mental health. So there are two things I looked at this from yesterday night, and I said to myself, that army officer,
Navy officer,
beg your pardon, who's being applauded as a hero, has families who were looking up to him in that scene. I'm sure, I don't know if he's married, but imagine if his wife watched how the minister called him a fool.
A big fool.
Or even your child.
Or your child, or he has children, and he said,
you're right.
They called daddy a fool. If I were the son, I'll be proud of my father then, because daddy said, I am not a fool. I have a child. I didn't give birth. My father didn't give birth to a fool. And he made it clear there and then. It is not disrespect.
It is
sometimes we think somebody says, are you mad? No, I'm not mad. It's not, I'm telling you, no, I'm not mad. It's just a clear response, I'm not mad. And imagine what that would do to his mental health. Not just him. Now let's fact check. What it would do to his colleagues in the Navy that were watching. The institution, they'll be like, wait, have we degenerated so badly that ministers will now talk bad on us and tell us that we are fools?
And don't forget, these are the same set of people you are sending
to go and fight. Can you see how deep it is?
I want to quickly head to YouTube and also read a few comments about the story before we move on to another one. In response to the Wike and journalist saga and Lillian's comment, she's giving a follow-up, and Benga, she's directed this one. She first says, why are they not asking him the right questions? Aborowa, you journalists know how to cover yourselves, say it the way it is when officers are involved. Just to mention that even on this show, there have been particular ones where we criticize the manner in which the questioning has happened. So no, when something is done wrongly, we call it out. Mokunye Chukwemeka says, loved what the fine officer did. Wike had no right to order him around. Wike did call the officer superior, and if he was wrong, he would have left the scene immediately. That's what Mokunye Chukwemeka says. Akpan Donato says that Wike is power drunk. And we must again recognize and remind ourselves from this that the quality of leaders are a huge reflection on the people. So you cannot be at the forefront in the president's cabinet and not carry yourself a certain way. you cannot be there and threaten people a certain type of way. I'm hoping that this will be addressed. Larry Olayinka has released one lengthy
two
on X. Where
hopefully we can get him on tomorrow.
You know, he's giving. I saw the photograph of him. You know, at the venue taking pictures and all. It looks like. Anyway, people were dragging him for that. I'm actually looking for his.
Maybe to the producers, let's try and get.
I'm looking for his tweets
tomorrow.
Maybe I'll read it. But there was a tweet he put out on X explaining what had happened and giving sort of.
He said they were intimidated.
A press release. Meanwhile, you must bear in mind that this is the same Wike and the same FCC minister that. Okay, yes, it's here. It says Wike condemns military takeover of Abuja land. Orders halt to illegal development. Says former naval chief behind encroachment and vows to resist intimidation. They can intimidate Wike. It says the Minister of the FCT, Minister Nyesom Wike, has condemned the alleged illegal takeover of a disputed land in Abuja by military personnel reportedly acting on the orders of a former chief of naval staff, describing the act as lawless and unacceptable. Wike, who personally visited the site on Tuesday after receiving reports that soldiers had driven away FCTA officials enforcing development control directives, said no individual, no matter their former position, will be allowed to intimidate government authorities or obstruct enforcement of the law. You are aware that the land, and this is a quote, you are aware that the land departments and the development control have the mandate to monitor illegal development and land grabbing, the minister said. When this was brought to my attention, I instructed them to ensure that nothing takes place there, as there were no legal documents, no regional approval, no valid acquisition. According to Wike, while officials of the Department of Development Control were on site to implement his directive, they were chased away by armed soldiers, allegedly acting under the instruction of a retired senior officer. Now, he goes back to quote, I was informed that the soldiers of the military had to chase them away and I thought they were acting illegally, Wike said. Today, while I was in the office, I was called again that the military had taken over the place. I had to come myself to see things. It's really unfortunate. He expressed shock that a person who once held a top military position could resort to such intimidation rather than follow due process. Go back to quote again. I'll skip and says, Wike also disclosed that when the FCTA officials demanded documents to justify the occupation, none was produced. The Director of Development Control said, bring the documents, they don't have them. Bring approval for building, they don't have it. How can we continue to allow lawlessness to prevail? What about those who don't have the military behind them? What about ordinary Nigerians? The minister maintained that the FCT administration will not tolerate the misuse of military power to obstruct legitimate urban regulation, stressing that the rule of law must apply to all. And he confirmed his commitment to restoring order and accountability in Abuja's land administration.
So he didn't address the insult.
Outburst, no. Yeah. So, and this is to say that they're speaking to the illegality of it. And he's saying that it's not like he just came there. He had already said his officials were there. Yeah. They chased the officials, and then they called him to let him know that the military was there. So he came to see if he could use his superior authority to resolve the situation until
my own perspective to that is that the Minister of FCT knows the concerned officer who owns that property, who they claim as. There are levels at which the top-notch. Your MD here, if he has something to do with a senior officer of a different organization, and he has sent Joe there to do something, and you are giving him a feedback, I'm sure he will not go there in person. He will call. And there are levels at which these high network people relate with one another.
And even if he's going there physically, he's not going to, and I like that example you gave. So let's imagine a TV anchor here has an issue with another TV anchor, and sort of it's involving our bosses. Our boss is not going to meet that TV anchor to say this is it. He will call the boss of that TV anchor. And they will talk. Or if he has to go physically, he will go to the TV anchor's boss's office or apartment,
not this anchor.
At the high level.
Yeah. It will be high level conversation, and you will resolve that matter. This issue of saying breed illegality is against the law, I will tell you, you should wait till after 4 years of existence. You read the story of declaring Team Silver wanted,
yes.
Because, and we all know what happened. They all have their records that they have. When they play Wike own for him, he will be shocked after leaving the office. So that's why you must tread with caution. There are ways that they always but I feel that it's emotional intelligence.
And those
when
who
you are
lead
high
them-
up there, you must relate with the superior. If you have called either the CDS and say, these are the challenges my team faced when I actually commissioned them. This is the person in question. I've been trying to reach him. He's not actually picking my call or not open to conversation. Can you prevail on this particular matter? He needs not to. As far as I'm concerned, is this derogatory to him. Leaving that place yesterday.
And stooping so low to be doing this.
To be doing that.
And when the senior person doesn't agree, there's a proper way for dispute resolution in our country, which is the court of
You go to the
take them to court and debate the legality of that land.
And
you resort to exchanging.
Let's look at
move to the next paper.
Let's look at daily trust. I want you to touch on this very quickly. No going back on PDP convention. No going back on convention. PDP says this is another problem. A court in Abuja says you can go ahead. Another court from the same FCT minister's wing rushed to court, and they say the faction says no. They get a court injunction that says they cannot continue. Remember, prior to that, there was a case of the same FCT minister's faction did come out to say, Damagum, you are no longer the national chairman. Another court came out and said Damagum is the what is
so
going
this court just mentioned, Joe,
what is going
the
on?
court that said that they're not allowed to do the election was sometime last week, right?
Yeah.
Then there was Oyo State High Court that said, oh, they can go ahead. Then yesterday again, Federal High Court in Abuja then says again.
Says you can't.
Is it that court injunctions is like going to shop right?
Lillian, you're not going to like this one. Lillian, help us and answer now. Because I know Lillian is my learned colleague. So
what is going on?
Help us and answer what's going on.
You see,
what is going on?
Law is not like account where we actually know what the figure looks like and you know the end result. But in law, you can start from this area and end on the other aspect of it. And I think NJC needs to just prevail on this matter, where judges are actually on the same matter, giving a counter, judgments and creating confusion.
A lot of confusion.
In the midst of all this. I think we should have our grandstand to say this is the way to go. Because I imagine, like you said at the beginning, 3 days to go. We don't have clarity of what it looks like. So if there are no preparation and the court says, after today, go ahead and do that particular thing. Definitely, you'll now be struggling to have effective convention that will be. The other side of it is, if you are saying this will go on, you must have invested some funds into making sure that the convention happen the way it should be. And you now come on the 15th, they say that cannot happen, possibly one side, outweigh the other. That means you have wasted some funds the way it is. Pardon me, as a finance person, it's always fun area I concentrate on. We leave the law for...
Yeah, the money man.
We leave the law for
the lawyers.
For the lawyers like my sister to handle. But we should look at some of these things. Lawyers should be sensitive that when you are planning this kind of a thing, funds are involved. And the organization needs to be effective if you don't have a clear cut of what it looks like.
True.
As of today, we don't know whether it will or it will not. Today, somebody you said, as of yesterday, they said it should not hold.
Yes.
First of all, it was Justice Omotosho in October 2025 that said it will not hold. They said, Justice Omotosho is a political judge. This one, that one. Then they got Ibadan judgment where the court said it should hold. Now, Justice Lifu has said the same thing in the Federal High Court Abuja, that it cannot hold and that INEC cannot supervise it. So if they go ahead and do this convention, will that not be...
The results will be...
No, but is it not contempt? The court has, has given a judgment.
What I'm just saying is that by today, by the close of business today, another court.
So what happens when these two courts of coordinate?
And now we are saying that the NJC
gave an injunction a day before the convention. That's the one they will follow.
And the one that gave at the midnight of the convention, you will discover that there can be an injunction by 11:59 p.m.
Just to say it clearly for our viewers who are watching, it's not a case of one being either, I'm looking for the grammar to use, maybe bewildered or confused. But even we as journalists, when we see things like this, it worries us, because at the end of the day, you are writing an article, you are deliberating on this issue before you finish, and then you ask yourself, what is the rule of law? We've seen many people discuss rule of law in articles, in writings, and people are saying, we've never seen it like this before.
Olive, there's a reason why you went
Never
to
seen
law
it this
school.
way.
I mean, you have the floor. You are the
No.
analyst.
Let's yield the floor to
No,
our
you are the
YouTube.
analyst.
No, one of our viewers is a lawyer, Lillian Onoha. Please let us know. I see her comments a lot, and I remember the name definitely because she's reacted to a lot of the legal matters we've had to. So what do we do in this case? What should we expect in terms of the two courts of coordinate jurisdiction giving different judgments? And what should we expect?
Only God can judge.
Let's wrap things up. We have just 2 minutes to go, Mr. Sesan. I would like you to just touch on this story. 48 hours to World Cup playoff, Super Eagles boycott training. I don't know if you've been following that.
Gabon.
If you haven't, I can give you another story.
Hotel matters.
Okay, let me move to another one. Travelers spend hours on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Again.
You see, I was in the one that happened, was it last week or last 2 weeks? Thursday. I was actually coming from the golf course, and I spent 6 hours.
Wow.
Between Ikeja and Magodo.
What?
6 solid hours. Unfortunately for me, my driver was not around that
You should
day.
have just stayed in the club.
In fact, my wife was saying, stay back. I said, no, let me just come home. The traffic is heavy, but I will beat it maybe in the next 1 hour. And imagine leaving the club around 5 and getting home past 11. The next day it was horrible. So, and my concern is some of these issues are problems that we can avert. The law enforcement agency, you see rickety. Most of the time we go after private vehicles. Leave some of these trucks. They will leave some of these containers that create this menace on the road. Will leave a Papa Port. Are there no people monitoring the functionality? You talk about
No
the
lights, no brake lights,
to show.
nothing.
Even the
Not
brake
properly
is not
strapped.
functioning. The container that is not properly, any slightest thing, they kill innocent people on the road. And I keep asking myself, how far are we going to
VI
go
will
with this
be
kind of
running
things?
after, and then we're talking tint permit.
So I think the concerned agency, they should not just come and apprehend them on the road. From the source, we should address it. If your vehicles are not in proper shape to move, don't leave area where you need to
Isn't that
keep some
what
of those things.
roadworthiness is supposed to do?
But roadworthiness, now that's why we keep saying
Sir,
that
we're
the rules.
playing Gabon tomorrow. Our World Cup chances are on the line. The Super Eagles are in Morocco as we speak.
They've not been paid.
And they haven't been
They said
paid.
even the AFCON promises
And
have not been
are
given.
they holding Nigerians to ransom? Should they not just do it for their country? Was it not Abraham Lincoln that said, don't ask what you can do for your country,
Ask
but
what
what
your
your country?
country
And
can
their
do for
country
you.
has put them in a nice hotel in Morocco.
Okay, the fact remains that the way our government make commitment to people without actually fulfilling it is what is happening here. You see a lot of people, most of the time they will sign with NUT, with medical association and the likes. And when it's time to implement, it becomes a problem. The euphoria of the winning and say, we are giving you all this. And those people have already, in fact, do you know the number of family members that will be hanging on them to say, they've given you $100,000, or where is our court? And all those kind of a thing. Now, you are just looking blank, as if nothing is going to happen. The only language, like they will always say, the same way association we owe the government to ransom by going on strike is what they are displaying. And if on this level, the government cannot have a common ground, then that means that
Do you think it will have an effect on their performance?
It will definitely, when you are not motivated, if you are not motivated on this
No, it's not motivated. The talent is Osimhen versus Gabonese players.
But the motivation must be there now.
If Osimhen no chop, I go
take play. The motivation must be there. You must be excited. If you wake up in the morning and you are not yourself and you are coming on this, let me tell you, viewers will know and ask, Joe, what happened to you?
You're right.
You are not yourself.
I'm myself today. That's why I'm firing on all cylinders.
So, and there are days that people will ask you that. So it's motivation. It may not be the finance that is motivating you. It might just be a word that will pat you on the back and give it to them.
I need to go to South Africa.
We need to wrap up, but I must take...
I'm not motivated.
Okay. I need to take this comment from Lillian Onoha. She's clarified that she says, I don't support conflicting court judgments. So, and we hear you on that. We don't support it, but we don't even know what the next steps are.
Our legal commenter.
Our legal commenter. In fact, we have to make our official legal analyst. Then Mokunye Chukwuemeka is our first position.
Yeah,
if I want to give top 3, Mokunye Chukwuemeka, Annie Chinedu Brown, Lillian Onoha. Thank you so much, guys. You always
Thank
make
you,
our show
Mr.
special.
I wish we can have you tomorrow again.
Sesan Okunade.
And good luck to the Super
Yes.
Eagles, even
Yes.
though I hope the NFF will be able to sort this out.
They will. They have a
wanna go
timer.
to the World Cup
They have
in
time. They have to keep the
Mexico,
time.
Canada, and the US.
Let's start with
next year.
AFCON in Morocco.
It's true.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
And 7 p.m.,
Have a great
remember, tune in 7 p.m. for
Part 2.
the part 2 of the interview with Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo. We'll be back again tomorrow. Au revoir.
No shout out.